for coming. Families and friends, I think with Donna it was hard to tell the difference between the two. Okay, thank you for coming. My name is Mason Waddles, and I was both humbled and grateful for this opportunity I have today to be able to share in the celebration of such a beautiful life. I'm going to start off with a really short, brief story of her life. Donna Grauf was passed away peacefully on Saturday, October 20th, 2018. At the Oregon and Health Science University Hospital in Portland, Oregon, at the age of 71. She leaves behind her husband, Alan, and her daughters, Mindy, Mealy, and Kimberly Miller. You're gonna have to pardon me, I'm a little nervous. Donna was born in Tulsa, Oklahoma on September 23rd, 1947, to the parents Otis and Lola Ray Edwards. She moved to Oregon when she was just months old. She graduated from Southern High School and married her high school sweetheart, Ellen Grauf. And July 2nd, 1966. They were married for 52 years. Donna truly loved her life and its simple pleasures. She was very fond of visiting Bandon on the Oregon coast. She enjoyed its sandy beaches, rock formation, and tide pools. She was delighted to know that a portion of her ashes will be scattered there. Donna liked visiting the ocean, but her favorite place was her own home. There she would entertain her family and friends with lively conversations and copious amounts of food. She had a long career in the wood products industry and retired from Rosewood Forest Products before being diagnosed with cancer in 2015. During her treatment, she remained a brave, iron-willed woman, even through her final hours. And this I can testify to be true. Donna, survived by her husband and daughters, as well as her sisters, Alice, Heaton, and Leanne Jacobs, her brothers, Rick and Barry Edwards, her 9 grandchildren, Zach, Trace, and Lane Miller, as well as Bailey, Morgan, Sydney, KK, Gabriel, Solomon, and 4 great-grandchildren, Macy, Addison, Micaiah, and Jaslyn. Donna was preceded in death by her parents. Donna requested a celebration of her life in which those she knew and loved would gather together, reminisce, grieve, support each other, but most importantly, eat and chat. Because that is where she loved what she loved the most. The family would like to thank you for coming today and remind you that financial gifts may be given to OHSU, Knight Cancer Institute, and Sutherland High School athletic program in Donna's name. So my arm is hurt, so I might twinge once in a while, reaction to grab my glasses, but my part in her life was pretty short. It was moments. When I first met Donna, she was introduced to me as Mimi, which made me a little uncomfortable because titles are important, and I think they're earned. Just because I have children doesn't make me a dad. But it wasn't long after I got to know her and her family a little better, it just felt natural. She was Mimi. My first impressions of her were of a strong-willed grandmother, Mimi, who was intensely proud of her family. And I remember thinking to myself that I'd never want to trespass against any of her family because I'd have a little over 100 pounds of problems that I wouldn't want. Like I explained earlier, my time with her were moments, celebrations, victories, birthdays, ball games. But I think it's in moments where the greatest things in life happen. Success is not determined by how high we can elevate ourselves in lives. I think success comes from how many people we can help along the way. To me personally, Mimi was a perfect example of success. All week long, I've been trying to find a word that would best describe her. And I've really struggled with this because in those moments, she was so many things to me. And she did the important things well. With your best interests at heart, I don't think Mimi would have held anything back. She was a tough, hard-working woman. And she had one purpose. It was family. It was obvious to me. One of her gifts that I recognized right off the bat was she could see her strengths and then build upon them. To me, Mimi was a refreshing breath of fresh air in a world of so little time. The best example I can give you was at Lane's graduation party. I have a lot of anxiety in large groups. If you guys could see my knees right now. But I was just kind of trying to blend in, kind of sit back like I do. I'm an observer. But she pulled me aside in the kitchen and introduced me to her sister. And it was just a matter of moments where I felt like I was the only person in that building with her. She wanted to hear my stories. She wanted to hear your stories, and she was genuinely interested. That is not something you learn. That is a gift that you're given. Her heart was so big, it was really hard for me to tell the difference between family and friends at times. I'm so grateful that my daughter, Megan, got to be a part of such a beautiful thing. And I know that she's better for it. She taught me much in moments. And she led by example. I remember going to ball games the last few years, and sometimes watching her, I would forget about the game because I was inspired by her strength. I knew that it was not comfortable for her, that she sometimes didn't have all of her strength. But wild horses couldn't have kept her from that game. So she inspired confidence, bravery in me. I never feel sorry for those who go home, for their struggles are over. But my heart breaks for those they leave behind. It gives me hope knowing that families are forever. I've never understood till death do you part. To me, families are what it's all about. We struggle, we cry, and we work to keep our families together. I think they're for all time and eternity. I met with the family earlier this week, and I was kind of dreading it because, what do you say? How can you comfort them? Words real. I walked into that home. Thankfully, my daughter was there. And sure, there were tears, but there were more laughter. And there was love. And there was hope. I left that home peacefully and calmly and grateful that I had that opportunity. I'm not the only person that felt that. It was told to me that at the hospital, I think in this world of me first, that we don't get to see that genuine, that real love. Mimi and her family touched everybody who was there to the point where they shared their favorite poems and wept when they found she had left. So at this moment, I choose to celebrate. For she has raised a strong and loyal family, and led them by example, showing them how to work hard, be strong, and loving despite a world that has little. I would like to take this moment to share with you guys that if you would have anything you would like to share, stories or ways that she may have touched in your lives, this mic is open.
All right, so first of all, I would like to thank you all for coming. Second of all, I would ask that you all send prayers and healing overseas, where my middle brother is currently deployed and can't be with us. Try and hold it together. My grandmother was most definitely an angel on earth. She touched everyone's heart, either by filling their stomachs with food or just giving the right life advice. There's many memorable moments with her in it, and I could go on for days, but I will try and keep this short and sweet. From the time I was born, being 500 miles away never broke a bond of a grandmother and her grandkids. Seeing that green Honda Passport pulling in that meant that Mimi and Papa were there. Very excited, we would run to the door and meet them, grab hugs and kisses. Lane would give a quick hug to Mimi and crawl right over to Papa and ask the most important question of the day. Mimi, Papa, what did you bring us? As we got older and more involved in sports, they would load up and drive overnight. They would get off on swing shift in the morning. When they first got there, they would sleep in their car until we woke up. And they would drive that far to watch one football game or a wrestling tournament, baseball. I moved my freshman year to live with my grandparents. These moments I gained over that year will never be washed away. Cooking with my Mimi, going to get groceries, and talking Papa into getting donuts and bagels, which didn't take very much. And the nightly routine Papa and I had to wrestle and fight through the hallways before going to bed. One night I realized, though, that Mimi was truly a guardian angel. Papa and I had chased each other all over the house wrestling. As he laid down for the night, I came in and found myself with a wire hanger. Looking at Papa's barefoot across the bed, it came to mind that I would surely win the round if I got his foot with that hanger. As I raised the hanger high in the air and looked his way, the words, "You wouldn't," flew out of his mouth. Right about the time that piece of wire made contact with all 5 toes. Big mistake. I took off running with him hot on my tail. He got a hold of me and I knew that it was over with. When I heard the voice of my Savior, "Al, let him go. It's your damn fault for saying he wouldn't do it." As Papa limped back to his bedroom, Mimi suggested that going to bed would be the best thing for the night. There was never a dinner without burnt bread, a sporting event you looked up and didn't see her, or a shoulder to cry on when life was hitting you hard. The way she put life into perspective amazed me, and all the worry would leave with a hug and the words of wisdom she would say. She constantly reminded us to put our problems up to God, and He would lead us the correct way. Before I end this, I want to say that she doesn't want sadness or tears shed over her. She wants all of her family and friends to share some food and stories, and remember for the strong, courageous, beautiful great-grandmother, grandmother, mother, wife, sister, and friend she was. I know she is here with us right now, and so I want to tell her that we are super proud of her for how strong she was during her long fight. She never quit for us. I also know she's wondering if there's enough food and already planning the cleanup. So we will all just remember her every day, call it a see you later. One day we will all go for a walk on the beach and talk about everything.
if I can find anything here. I'm Alice Heaton, Donna's sister. Sister and friend, two words that mean the same thing. Donna was loving, caring, understanding, supportive, insightful, encouraging, and helpful to me, Leanna, Rick, and Mary, as she was to all her family and friends. I am 15 months older than Donna, and yet she was the matriarch of our family. She was the glue that kind of stuck us all together. As I look back over the years together, this quote says it all. She made the bad times good and the good times unforgettable. Speaking of quotes, I could relate to this one. If you mess with the big sister, there is a younger, crazier sister behind her. That's who you don't want to mess with. Or, back off. I have a sister, and I'm not afraid to use her. And that's you too, Lanny. To the very last day of Donna's life, she was concerned about her family, not herself. Sorry. She is our inspiration. Her fight was courageous and positive. She was so thankful to everyone that helped her. For Barry's stem cells that gave her another year, and all the doctors and nurses who felt so close to her and Alan as they cared for her. And to Alan, he was with her every step of the journey and never left her side. Your knees were shaking, my hands shaking. In closing, I will end with this quote. A sister is a gift to the heart, a friend to the spirit, a golden thread to the meaning of life.
Well, like I said earlier, thankfully y'all came, and I know the entire family is. I like the way I felt when I was around her and who I was. And it's wonderful to be a part of this. You know, a lot of funerals are sad, very sad. But I looked around earlier before it started, and there was a lot of laughter. There was a lot of love. And what a beautiful thing to be a part of in my moment. I think in the family style, there's lots of refreshings. And I'm sure they would encourage you all to stick around to uplift and to remember this beautiful thing that was her. And I say these things humbly and gratefully. Amen.